Amina stumbles upon a mysterious pool in the forest, where her reflection speaks to her, revealing that she possesses a rare and powerful gift. As she navigates the dangers of the forest, she encounters Ikenna, a dark figure who seeks to steal her magic. With the help of the forest's ancient spirits, Amina must find the courage to confront him, rescue a kidnapped girl, and protect the magic that flows through her. The tension builds as Ikenna's sinister plans are revealed, leading to a dramatic showdown between light and darkness. Will Amina be able to stop him in time? In the small village of Ekulo, nestled between the rolling hills and dense forests, lived a young girl named Amina. Amina was known for her bright eyes and her boundless curiosity. Her mother, Dada, often said that Amina had the spirit of a wanderer, always wanting to explore beyond the familiar paths of their village. Every day after her chores, Amina would wander off into the nearby woods, her bare feet treading softly on the moist earth, her eyes scanning the trees and listening to the sounds of the forest. One afternoon, while walking deeper into the woods than she ever had before, Amina stumbled upon a clearing she had never seen. In the center of the clearing stood an old, twisted tree with branches that seemed to stretch out like the arms of an ancient dancer. At the base of the tree was a small, sparkling pool of water. The water was so clear that Amina could see her reflection perfectly, as if it were a mirror. She kneeled beside the pool, captivated by its strange beauty. As Amina gazed into the pool, she felt a strange sensation, like a whispering breeze caressing her skin. The surface of the water began to ripple, and she saw something unusual. Her reflection smiled at her, but Amina hadn't moved a muscle. Startled, she pulled back, her heart pounding. She shook her head, telling herself it was just her imagination. But when she looked again, the reflection was still smiling, and this time it spoke. "Hello, Amina," it said softly, its voice like a gentle rustle of leaves in the wind. Amina gasped, stumbling backward. Who are you?" she stammered, looking around to see if someone was playing a trick on her. But the clearing was empty, save for the old tree and the shimmering pool. "I am Nira," the reflection answered. "I have been waiting for you." Amina felt a mix of fear and curiosity rise within her. "Waiting for me? Why?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Nira smiled wider, her eyes twinkling like stars in the night sky. "Because you have something special within you, Amina, something the world needs. But you must be careful, for there are those who will try to take it from you." Amina's curiosity overpowered her fear. She leaned closer to the pool, her reflection clear and bright. "What do you mean? What do I have?" she asked eagerly. Nira's expression grew serious. "You have the gift of seeing what others cannot. You can see the magic in the world, the hidden things that others ignore. But you must learn to protect this gift. It can be both a blessing and a curse." Amina nodded slowly, absorbing Nira's words. "What should I do?" she whispered, feeling a strange sense of urgency. Nira's smile returned. "For now, listen to the whispers of the forest, the songs of the wind. They will guide you. And remember, not everything is as it seems. Trust your heart, Amina." With that, the pool grew still again, and Amina's reflection returned to normal. She sat there for a moment, trying to process what had just happened. Her heart was still racing, but there was a new sense of excitement coursing through her veins. She knew she had to tell someone, but who would believe her? When Amina returned to her village, she decided to keep her encounter a secret for the time being. She couldn't shake the feeling that she needed to be careful, just as Nira had warned. That night, as she lay in her small bed, listening to the distant sounds of drums and singing, she made a silent promise to herself. She would learn more about this gift and find out what Nira had meant. Days turned into weeks, and Amina continued to visit the pool in the forest, hoping to see Nira again. She listened closely to the whispers of the wind, as Nira had advised, and began to notice things she hadn't before. The way the leaves rustled in patterns, the songs of the birds that seemed to carry messages. She felt a connection to the forest that grew stronger with each visit. One day, while sitting by the pool, Amina saw a shadow moving in the trees. She turned quickly, expecting to see an animal, but instead she saw a tall, thin man dressed in a long, flowing robe. His skin was dark and his eyes glowed like embers. He smiled at her, but it was a smile that sent chills down her spine. "Hello, little one." the man said, his voice deep and smooth like honey. "What brings you to this part of the forest?" Amina felt a surge of fear. She remembered Nira's warning and clutched the small stone pendant around her neck, a gift from her grandmother. I was just exploring," she replied cautiously. The man nodded slowly, still smiling. "This is a dangerous place for a young girl to wander alone. You never know what might be lurking in the shadows." Amina felt her heart race, but she forced herself to stay calm. "I am not afraid," she said, trying to sound braver than she felt. The man laughed softly. "Ah, such courage. But tell me, have you seen anything unusual here?" His eyes seemed to bore into hers as if searching for something. Amina hesitated, then shook her head. "No, nothing unusual," she lied, hoping he wouldn't notice the tremor in her voice. The man's smile faded and his eyes narrowed. "Very well," he said, his voice now cold and sharp. "But be careful, little one. Not everything in this forest is as friendly as it seems." With that, he turned and walked away, disappearing into the shadows of the trees. Amina watched him go, her heart pounding in her chest. She knew he was looking for something, and she had a feeling it was connected to her encounter with Nira. That night, as Amina sat by the fire with her mother and the other villagers, she couldn't help but think about the strange man in the forest. She wanted to tell her mother, but she knew it would only worry her. Dada was already concerned about Amina's constant wandering. Instead, Amina decided to seek out the village elder, Baba Joro, who was known for his wisdom and knowledge of the old ways. The next day, Amina made her way to Baba Joro's hut. She found him sitting outside, his long white beard flowing over his chest, his eyes half closed as if he were in deep thought. Amina greeted him with respect and sat down beside him. "Baba Joro," she began, "I have a question about the forest." The old man opened his eyes and looked at her with a knowing smile. "Ah, the forest," he said softly. "It holds many secrets, child. What do you wish to know?" Amina hesitated, then decided to tell him about her encounter with the man in the forest. Baba Joro listened carefully, his expression growing more serious with every word. When she finished, he nodded slowly. "I have heard of this man," he said in a low voice. "He is known as Ikenna, the Seeker. He is a dangerous man, Amina, and he is searching for something powerful. You must be very careful around him." Amina felt a chill run down her spine. "What does he want?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Baba Joro sighed. "He is searching for a great power, something that lies hidden in this forest, something that only a few can see." Amina's heart skipped a beat. "Like me?" she asked, her eyes wide with fear. The old man nodded slowly. "Yes, child, like you. You have a gift, Amina, and that gift can be a great weapon in the wrong hands. You must learn to control it, to protect it." Amina swallowed hard, her mind racing. "How do I do that, Baba Joro?" she asked, her voice filled with urgency. Baba Joro smiled gently. "You must listen to the forest, Amina. It will guide you. Trust your heart and stay true to who you are. And remember, you are not alone. The spirits of the forest are with you." Amina nodded, feeling a sense of determination rise within her. She thanked Baba Joro and left his hut, her mind filled with thoughts of her next steps. She knew she needed to be careful, but she also knew that she couldn't hide forever. She had to learn more about her gift and find a way to protect it from those who would use it for harm. In the days that followed, Amina continued to visit the pool and listen to the whispers of the forest. She practiced her skills, learning to read the signs in the leaves, to hear the messages in the wind. She felt herself growing stronger, more connected to the magic that flowed through the world around her. But she also knew that time was running out. Ikenna was still searching, and she could feel his presence growing closer every day. She had to find a way to stop him before it was too late. One evening, as the sun began to set, Amina sat by the pool, her heart heavy with worry. She knew she couldn't face Ikenna alone, but she didn't know who she could trust. Suddenly, she heard a soft rustling behind her. She turned quickly and saw a young boy standing at the edge of the clearing, his eyes wide with fear. "Who are you?" Amina asked, her voice filled with suspicion. The boy stepped forward slowly, his hands trembling. "My name is Chidi," he said, his voice barely a whisper. I know who you are, Amina. I know about your gift." Amina's eyes widened in surprise. "How do you know?" she asked, her heart racing. Chidi swallowed hard, his eyes darting around the clearing. Ikenna, he took my sister, he said, his voice breaking. He is looking for you, Amina. He knows you have the power he seeks. Amina felt a surge of fear and anger. Why did he take your sister? She demanded, her voice filled with urgency. Chidi's eyes filled with tears. She tried to protect me, he whispered. She knew I was different, like you. She tried to hide me, but he found us. He took her instead. Amina's heart ached with sympathy for Chidi. She knew she had to help him, but she also knew that this was just the beginning. Ikenna would stop at nothing to find her, and she had to be ready for whatever came next. With a determined look, she took Chidi's hand. We will find your sister, she promised, and we will stop Ikenna together. Chidi nodded, hope flickering in his eyes. Thank you, Amina, he whispered. As they made their way back through the forest, Amina felt a new sense of purpose. She knew she had a long journey ahead, but she also knew that she was not alone. The spirits of the forest were with her, and she would do whatever it took to protect the magic that flowed through her veins. Amina and Chidi continued their search for Chidi's sister, following the clues left behind by the whispers of the wind and the signs in the leaves. They moved through the forest with caution, always aware of the danger that lurked in the shadows. One night, as they rested by a small fire, Amina heard a soft voice calling her name. She looked up and saw a figure standing at the edge of the clearing, her face hidden in the darkness. Who are you? Amina called out, her hand reaching for the small dagger she carried. The figure stepped forward and Amina gasped. It was Nira, the spirit of the pool. Amina, she said softly, I have come to help you. Amina felt a surge of relief and gratitude. Nira, she whispered, Ikenna has taken Chidi's sister. We need your help to find her. Nira nodded, her eyes filled with compassion. I know, she said. Ikenna is close, but he is also afraid. He knows that you are stronger than he expected. Amina felt a flicker of hope. What should we do? She asked, her voice filled with determination. Nira smiled. Trust in yourself, Amina. You have the strength and the courage to face Ikenna. And remember, the forest is with you. Listen to its whispers and it will guide you. With that, Nira vanished into the night, leaving Amina and Chidi with renewed determination. They knew they had to be careful, but they also knew they had to act quickly. Ikenna was getting closer, and time was running out. The next day, they set out again, moving deeper into the forest. Amina listened closely to the wind, feeling the magic flow through her veins. She knew they were on the right path, but she also knew that the final confrontation with Ikenna was near. As they moved through the dense undergrowth, they heard a sound, a soft cry in the distance. Amina and Chidi exchanged a glance and moved towards the sound. They pushed through the bushes and saw a young girl tied to a tree, her face pale and her eyes filled with fear. That's my sister? Chidi cried, rushing forward, but before they could reach her, a dark figure stepped out from the shadows. It was Ikenna, his eyes glowing with malice. So you finally found me, he sneered. But you are too late. Amina felt a surge of anger. Let her go, Ikenna, she demanded, her voice steady and strong. Ikenna laughed, a cold, cruel sound. Why should I? You are the one I want, Amina. Surrender your power to me, and I might spare them. Amina stood her ground, her heart filled with resolve. I will never give you my power, she said firmly, and I will not let you hurt anyone else. Ikenna's eyes narrowed, and he raised his hand, summoning a dark force that swirled around him like a storm. Then you will all perish, he shouted, his voice filled with rage. But before he could strike, the forest came alive. The trees seemed to move, their branches reaching out like arms. The wind howled, and the ground shook. Amina felt the magic surging through her, stronger than ever before. She closed her eyes and let it flow, calling upon the spirits of the forest to help her. With a burst of energy, she unleashed a powerful force that knocked Ikenna off his feet. He stumbled back, his eyes wide with shock. No, he screamed. This cannot be. Amina stood tall, her eyes blazing with light. Leave this place, Ikenna, she commanded, and never return. Ikenna, weakened and defeated, snarled in anger but knew he had no choice. He turned and fled into the shadows, disappearing into the depths of the forest. Amina rushed to Chidi's sister, untied her and held her close. You're safe now, she whispered, relief flooding her heart. Chidi embraced his sister, tears streaming down his face. Thank you, Amina, he said, his voice filled with gratitude. Amina smiled, feeling a deep sense of peace. She knew the journey was far from over, but she also knew she had found her strength, her purpose. She would continue to protect the magic that flowed through her, to guard the secrets of the forest, and to stand against those who would seek to destroy it. And with that, she turned back to the pool, ready for whatever lay ahead, knowing that she was never truly alone.